Wiz Khalifa, listen. Me, you got me playing live.
On there, yeah.
I can imagine the people saying, yo, that is stupid. Oh, man, we got to have fun before we start. Got to warm up, right?
Yeah, we do. Okay, let's see. All right. Okay, cool. Perfect. Let's see. You don't like my silliness? Your silliness is the only silliness that's approved? Does that what we're going with today?
Yes. I'm just messing with you.
You're so rude and disrespectful.
So why you ain't disinfecting me, shower? Oh my gosh, I ain't even got my charger with me.
My charger.
Aaron. Don't you think it would have been a little bit more easier if you just walked around to that door and just came over here? Never mind. Just pass me a charger, please.
Bop, doo, bop, 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 bamboo is the
House. You bullshit.
Hey, me being silly is all a part of life.
What's up, Kezo?
It's
charger
downstairs.
is the charger in their room?
Yeah, but the one that you like, the Samsung, is downstairs.
All right, pass me the Samsung downstairs.
Oh man. Okay.
We got some interesting topics to talk about today. Queen, what you got to talk about? The name of the topic?
Let's see. My topic that I will be divulging in is based on a case study that I performed myself. And it is on colorism within the Black relationship.
Okay.
Ting, ... Bosom heads.
So what I got right here is pretty much slave breeding during the 1800s. I got the sexual violence and acts that's committed amongst our community, and as well as covering domestic violence, because there's some females that's been asking, and the Queen to put out some information on domestic violence and stuff like that, because that's a topic that need to be talked about in the Black community. So we're waiting on some more fans to come in. If you can, share some people, some women that would love to come into this conversation and chime in, because we would love to hear the women's point of view.
God, yes. It would be so awesome if that could happen. Definitely. As well as men.
Yes, as well as men as well, too.
That is something that is very well needed. What's that?
That was my phone.
Oh, okay, that's you. Oh, listen, this week, the study that I did, what I did was I posed a question. I did it on Instagram, my personal Facebook page, my Twitter account, and then I did it on a group page, multiple group pages that I am a part of on Facebook as well. And the question that I posed is this: do you prefer light skin or dark skin? Okay, within the Black relationship. That is the question that was posed. And the next question after that was, have you dealt with colorism? And that is the gist of the main reason why I did the case study, because when you go online and you're looking up statistics and trying to just more or less gather information pertaining on the subject of colorism, usually there aren't any Black case studies that have been done. It's something that's done by white people asking a generalized question and or just guessing on the topic specifically. So I personally felt the need to reach out to Black people and ask them themselves. Now, with me doing this case study, there were some that they were very vague with their answer. And then there were some that were extremely open-minded and listed examples and or reasons why, or family experiences pertaining to the issue of relationships and to the issue of colorism within the family dynamic, whether it's aunts, uncles, sisters, brothers, mother, and father. So I don't want to be long-winded before going into the definitions, I'll say. Okay, so for the definitions, I'm going to define for you. Not saying that you don't need it, you need it to be defined, but I personally like to put it out there just in case there's someone that does not know or has a misperception of what it actually is. We're going to be defining colorism. Of course, we know racism, but we're going to define racism as well because colorism is another form of racism that is within the Black community against oneself. Okay, then we're going to do self-esteem. We're going to do skin color stratification, and then gender colorism, and then beauty quo. Now, let me say this. The reason why I like to reiterate, because I get a lot of comments after the live video is done, and then after the video is uploaded on YouTube, I get a lot of direct messages asking me or stating, well, why'd you go that far into it? Why'd you define this? And you didn't have to do all of that. Technically, I do, because not everyone is conscious that watches the videos. And
or have a big vocabulary.
Exactly.
And that's not being funny or facetious or nothing like that, but it's just, it is what it is.
That's the truth. Okay. So colorism, a system that grants privileges and opportunities to those that possess lighter complexions within the Black community. Okay. Now, colorism is a function of skin color stratification along with functions of interracial discrimination. That one's own race is superior. With this being a Black conscious outlet, we already know that the racism that we are talking to, particularly are white people being racist towards us, but on this topic, it would be
the flip side
of where a dark-skinned Black person or a light-skinned Black person is racist / a colorist against the opposite skin shade. Okay.
All right.
Okay. And like I said, self-esteem, individual perceptions, positive or negative, that are held about oneself. And the reason why I put self-esteem into the topic is because colorism itself is pertaining to one's own self-esteem when you're looking at it in the broader spectrum. Okay. Now, I look at it in the sense of colorism. I'm speaking on self-esteem in a negative dynamic because we have a lot of Black men and women who have low self-esteem about their skin color, and they deflect onto their own people. Peace, fam.
Peace, family. Peace.
So therefore, we're completely divulging into the self-esteem attached with the colorism on this topic here. Okay, skin color stratification is colorism, the process that privileges light skin over dark in areas such as income, education, housing, and marriage market. The reason why that is such a big key, because this is what white people use when it's directed towards us. So they're using colorism against us as a way to completely divide and conquer, which with me doing the case study, There were a lot of men and women that stated this as well. This is something that I already know. However, I'm needing to know perceptions and views and opinions of other people. So therefore, this right here I'm lost for my exact word.
Misinterpretation.
Yes, misinterpretation for ourselves, okay? Gender colorism. Beauty is an ideology that can be used as a tool to maintain patriarchy. It says beauty divided women through competition and diverse attention from more important things. Now that ties into the beauty quote, and that's the preference for light skin. This is a quote to go along with this, is the preference for light skin is not just a phenomenon for the preference in beauty, but it translates to everyday lived opportunities. Now, beauty quote definition itself is the concept of explained how sexism and racism interact to create a quo of beauty ranging from lightest to dark, in which the lightest gets the most attention / resources. Now,
okay,
that is these words combined in talking about this subject and pertaining to the case study that I did, it's one of the things that's like completely eye-opening for me, because I know that for myself, I've dealt with colorism. Of course, my dealing of colorism is the opposite of a woman who is darker than me, vice versa. Let's see, skin color privilege. Now, I know that within the Black community, we like to say there's light skin privilege and then there's white privilege. So that would be what skin color privilege is in itself when it's pertaining to this topic of colorism within the Black relationship. It says the privilege of being considered more beautiful as a result of having lighter skin. Now, when it pertains to this topic, I've had a lot of people tell me that I have a privilege over them that they don't have. And that is something I do know, that there is a such thing as a light skin privilege. However, a lot of people in the community think that just because a person is light skinned, that they are automatically okay, or there's a check mark for them to live their lives and not have to deal with any form of racism or discrimination. And that is completely far beyond.
Can I insert on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Like many other Black people struggles, light skin versus dark skin stereotype finds its root in the time period of slavery, where white slave owners engage in sexual affairs, i.e. rape or sexual assault, with their female slaves. They often impregnated. These white, half white, half Black babies were treated more better than others. Slave owners felt that because that the girls were a bit of white, that they were simply better. As a result, they were chosen to be the house slaves as the darker skin was work in the fields. This is unfair to the pyramid of perception of beauty, served as a foundation for the society as it is today. And this is something that is marked. I was reading that was marked off of what somebody else was going off of what you're saying on colorism. But go ahead, keep going.
Okay. So what my notion in the study that I did was trying to figure out whether or not a person who is light picking a dark skin counterpart and or a dark skin person picking a light skin counterpart is a preference and or a prejudice against their own color. That is the whole gist of the case study, which is a part of the colorism. So it plays into it all the way completely. Okay. In many relationship choices, they are controlled by subconscious programming, both biological and sociological. When I say biological, that would be in a sense of your upbringing, what you were around. The sociological is what you see in the media, what you're taught in school, what you read in the books, magazines.
Media.
Yeah, that would be
movies,
media.
Video.
Right.
Videos, music videos. Go ahead.
Now, as we all know, when it pertains to the Black relationship, there are so many varieties of colors within the Black race that there is no such thing as picking just a one shade and or a one type.
Oh, one type is more blacker than the other.
Right, because we come in a variety.
150,000 shades of black.
Right. So with the question that I posed, and I'm going to state it again, the question that I posed in my case study was, do you prefer light skin or dark skin? And the follow-up questions to that were, if so, why? And have you dealt with colorism? Now, the first person off bat to respond to this, I don't want to call them an idiot, but their statements were very idiotic. And the reason why I say this is because off top, it automatically went to your red bone fine ass. And it's like, I wasn't trying to go there. You're taking it in a space that's completely far away from where it was supposed to be. But their answer to me was, I preference light skin. And I said, why is that? I don't know why. I just like light skin. And then he went on to say, but I'm trying to leave light-skinned women alone because they come with too many problems.
Kodak Black.
But he liked light-skinned women.
Hey.
No, I'm saying the guy said light-skinned women have too many problems.
Hey.
And then he stated that, you know, he's gonna try and date darker women. And his comment posed someone else to pop into the conversation and say pretty much that was out of line and out of context, and that their perception is completely misguided. It also posed a lot of people to kind of harp on me about it because in a sense, it's like, why are you bringing up another issue that's already ongoing in the Black community? This isn't about uplifting the community. This is tearing us down. This is causing more friction, and this is doing the work for the white man himself. That's pretty much in the gist what some of the people have been saying to me.
Attacking left and right.
Right, and this is from male and female.
But the female started it first, and the men divulged.
Yes, a woman. Now on my Facebook personal page, a woman started it first, and then on the group page, it started with the man. And after that one guy chimed in, it was like boom, 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 boom. And it kind of was like, okay. I wasn't going there with it, literally. I really, truly wasn't. And I really had a lot of people say, you know, I had some people ask me, you know, why are you doing this? Why are you asking? And the reasoning behind is what I'm going to continue to say throughout this page is, this is an ongoing issue within the Black community that continues to cripple us. And in order for us to want to come together and to unify, we personally, within our own community, must address the issues that we have right now before we can divide and conquer any other issue. That's pertaining to racism, governmental issues, police brutality, all of that. It's pertaining to all of that. We have to define and fix what is going on within our own community before we can even try and branch out and fix what is being done to us, because we ourselves are defeating each other by the divide.
Daciso said it right, though. He said, yo, people want to turn a blind eye.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly what happens. So my responses that I got. Okay, I'm gonna shell out a few things that were said. So some people were very one-word answered: light skin, dark skin, both. And I take that as being very vague and not necessarily wanting to divulge. So I took that as someone being closed off. And I personally did not reach out because I don't want to step on any toes for anyone. And anyone that put more than just a one-word answer, those were people that I would ask in detail, you know, why is this your preference, and or why is that the case? And then I would ask, of course, my follow-up question: have you personally dealt with colorism? Now, I've had one guy tell me he prefers light-skinned men, and then that
men.
I'm sorry, excuse me, light-skinned women. I'm sorry, excuse me. He's not gay. He wasn't gay. He prefers light-skinned women. And then I said, well, have you ever dated outside of light skin? He said, yes, I dated a dark-skinned woman. However, I was heartbroken by her. So I took that as you took that one experience and deflected from dark-skinned women, and now you're just diverting all your attention to light-skinned women because you've only been hurt by a dark-skinned woman. And I can't, I guess you could say I can't really relate to that because I don't date women. But I personally have not shown that type of discrimination against a dark-skinned man or a light-skinned man. Now, I'll tell you this. Being a woman who is considered light-skinned to the Black community, during the times that I was dating, I would say that my preference that I would want to be with was someone of my same complexion, light skin. And this is before becoming conscious, and this is before any type of relationship issues, any of that. If you asked me what I liked, I would point out a light-skinned man. It had nothing to do with light skin is better, none of that. It was just, that's what I liked. And I noticed that light-skinned men did not like me. Light-skinned men would not approach me. If I approached anyone that was light-skinned, they would not give me the time of day. So I, in effect, started dating men who were darker than me. And I've been there ever since. Why? Because light-skinned men usually do not go for a light-skinned woman. And within this case study that I did, I noticed that with men, usually they would, now let me say this. A lot of men either said both, they have to be Black, just period Black, or dark skin. It was very rare, and I'm gonna say rare because from all the spectrums that I was getting responses, it was very rare. She gotta be light skin only. Like I can literally count between, let's see, 500 out of, I'm just gonna guesstimate that was close to like 500 people. It's like 100 that said light skin out of the Black men. Okay, that's a good number when you're comparing those 500 men. Now, granted, we all know that some people probably said both just to not hurt any feelings. We already
They're not being true,
right?
Because I said that shit myself. I mean, I know a lot of light-skinned brothers, you know what I'm saying, yo, that's half white, Boricua, Cubano, Dominicano, you know what I'm saying? And for the homies that I grew up with in New York, sister. You know what I'm saying? You know, a lot of my homies, they love a chocolate sister. They love a sister with tan, but I mean, with a little, you know what I'm saying, with that melanin in them. It's not taken away from their own culture,
right? Because
if they had to, and you know, the opportunity arised itself, you know what I'm saying, they would talk to a shorty rock from their own culture too.
Yeah.
But it's like it wasn't a barrier.
Right.
It's a barrier in between. You know what I'm saying, yo? Because we find ourselves struggling as male and female counterparts that we trying to communicate with each other, but it's like it's always some type of feud or mismatch type shit where it's like we're not meeting up.
Right.
You know, the way how we're supposed to meet up. Right. Based on what the media has assimilated to be correct.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? Typically correct. You know what I mean? So it's like what I was telling people back in the, you know what I'm saying, in the days or whatever, in the whole nine, I'm like, yo, dude, on some real shit, I face racism from black people more than I face racism from white people. And I don't been in the racist fucking state. A lot of the areas that I went to, most black people can't go. And they respect me.
Yeah.
And these are the same racist ass people, crackers, that a lot of these black people complain about. I'm in their area and they respect me all day 24/7. So it kind of make you want to think for a second, like, is the white man really a threat, or am I a threat, or is my society a threat towards me, or am I a threat towards my society?
Right.
Because I don't impose no harm, but for some reason my society or the group or the environment that I'm in at that particular point in time in the state that I'm in considers me a threat.
Right.
The black people in that state or in that county.
Right.
But go ahead.
So, I'm just gonna list a couple of examples. I had black men say, mostly in the conscious pages that I posted in, they would say that they prefer a dark-skinned melanated woman. And I would ask some of them, like I said before, you know, have you dealt with colorism? And the answer would be, sometimes it would be a no, and I took that as they didn't necessarily want to divulge into it. And then there was, yes, I have dealt with colorism, and then they would give me their examples and or stories of what they have dealt with. Now, there was one man who said that, you know, he dealt with dark-skinned women telling him that he was too dark, and that was the main reason why he wasn't with dark-skinned women.
I had one tell me that shit too.
And then on the flip side, there were black women, and when I'm saying black, I'm pertaining to the dark skin. I really don't want to separate the two, but you know, it's the topic at hand. It was the same issue for them, and or it was based on society. So I kind of want to continue the study in itself, because I can't get a true perception off of it in a 2-day span. However, from some of the things that I've been told, to one young lady, she said that she had an aunt who would show favoritism to the light-skinned cousins, and she would state that she said, these are my brown paper bag favorites, and those over there are my crocodile bags. And if anyone who is conscious should automatically off top know, if you reference a black person as a crocodile bag, you automatically talking about a dark-skinned child or person, and that's technically who the master will go feed to crocodiles. I'm just saying, like, if you really,
no, I'm with you.
Like, that's
but it's white people's skin is more scalier than black people. But anyways, watch this.
No, it wasn't in the perception of that.
No, yeah. I got you though. Around 2 weeks ago, I had a conversation with a fellow African. His views on the hierarchy of beauty shocked me. He stated that the general consensus on attractiveness for most likely to least is Latina, mixed girls, white girls, than dark-skinned girls? Firstly, why is it that there's even a hierarchy?
Yeah.
Secondly, why are the beautiful chocolate women the end of the list? Keep in mind, these are the words that came from a black man, automatically a boy. Continue.
Okay. What I also noticed is there's a stigma within our community that light skin is perceived to be better. Dark skin is not perceived to be beautiful and or attractive. The light skinned person is perceived to have pretty hair, and the dark skinned person is perceived to have nappier hair. Now, I had someone who recently posted on here, and she gave an example saying that some women wear weave in the corporate world in order to be received, and then when they go home they take their weave out and it's all natural. Now, when you're posing an example like this about colorism, and we're divulging in the effects of how racism, self-esteem plays into it, that in itself is a self-defeating example when it pertains to the Black community. Why would you list hair weave off top, and in the corporate world, which we all know is more than likely a white employer? That is the worst example you could have ever listed to try and defend yourself in the perception of women's hair, whether Black. And when I say Black, I'm talking about whether you light skin, dark skin, brown, caramel, toffee, latte, whatever color you are. That is the worst example, because I know plenty of light skinned women who have very kinky hair, and I know plenty of dark skinned women who have very fine hair.
Yep.
So there is no such thing as a one specific type for a light skinned person and or a dark skinned person.
150,000 shades of black, baby.
Now, I also noticed that it could be a generational spectrum as well when it pertains to the colorism, depending on the day and age that you were raised in.
Yep.
It also plays into it. A lot of older people, you know, they tend to know more of the civil rights era of colorism, slavery area, or slavery backlash or aftermath of colorism. It's defeating as a woman to see some of the things that were said. It's more defeating as a Black woman to see that we tend to beat ourselves down because of a color of a skin, because of a hair type, when all Black women and all Black men are beautiful.
All right now.
Beautiful, period.
Power.
And the crazy thing is, someone in the study posed the question to me: have I personally dealt with colorism?
Shit.
And I can truly say, yes, I have. I have.
Either you're not light enough or you're not Black enough.
I'm not light enough, not dark enough. I had a dark-skinned guy tell me I wasn't light enough and I barely met the quota. So you mean tell me you want a white woman if I barely meet the quota, and this is a tan right here?
Peace, love, Hambone. Peace and love, Oba. Universal Diddy in the house. Yo, what's good? What's good, fams?
So I noticed that a lot of the younger people that replied to the question, they They tend to be more universal love in their reply. I love everyone. Anyone should choose who they want to love. And
they don't mean that
I know
shit.
they do. I know
Yeah.
But it gives a spectrum to it gives a spectrum to this generation though. This generation is like that.
Fake ass motherfuckers.
No, I'm saying in the sense of
loving everybody.
Loving everybody because of the religion that has been put on to us. And then in the spectrum of colorism in itself, I don't see color. No, I don't see color. I just see who I love.
But you don't remember that one dude that you said that he was like, he don't see color, but then he made a distinguished difference between black women and white women?
Yes.
Or black women and light-skinned women?
Oh, that one, yeah.
So I can't even say that. There's some faking ass motherfuckers.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that about all the generation, the younger generation. There's a lot of young generation that's out there that got some common sense. Yes. They smarter than the average cats. I take my hat off to you all day, 24/7. But for the cats that's out there that don't know no better, on some real shit, yo, y'all making the younger generation step up on y'all asses because they know more than and you around my age. How the fuck you doing it to yourself? That's some real shit. I don't see some motherfuckers fake the funk on a nasty dump.
What? Oh.
So, you know, I mean, I'm sorry. I'm trying to read what it says. I'm sorry. Go ahead. So, you know, I really can't rock with that. The only thing I could rock with is you got a difference between real and fake, authentic and what's not authentic. Right. Authentic doesn't have an age. It's in your heart. It's in your mind and your body and your soul. Yeah. If you there, you there. Right. If you not, you not. You feel what I'm saying, yo? All day, 24/7. Yeah, that's absolutely correct. Hold on one second. J Day is payday. Hold on one second. Within the case study, like I said, I had one guy, he responded stating that he doesn't date black women anymore because they are unsubmissive to him, unsupportive, and unmotivated and non-motivative towards him, and that he only dates Caucasians and Latinos because they're submissive, supportive, and motivating. I personally took offense because how dare you? How dare you? I'd rather you just not say nothing to me at all about what you prefer, because this is pertaining to black relationships, and I coined it in the question: black relationships, not interracial relationships, but black relationships. Now, what he stated, it is something when it pertains to the dynamics of the black relationship that many men have said when it pertains to light-skinned women and dark-skinned women. Light-skinned women are more easygoing, open-minded, submissive, supportive, and motivational. I have heard that, and then I've heard that dark-skinned women are, I don't even want to say it. Can you say it? Because I don't want to say it. What, got attitudes? Obnoxious, arrogant. Hold on, hold on. That's not my words. I'm just telling you what I heard. What I heard these motherfuckers say. What other people are saying. I'm just what other people saying. This is not old Tep's word. Kodak said a black woman got a chip. A dark-skinned sister got a chip on her shoulder. He'd rather deal with a light-skinned woman because they're easier to break in. I'm just telling you what they said. And this is the perception that is perceived by a lot of dark-skinned men when it pertains to light-skinned and dark-skinned women. And then also, when it pertains to dark-skinned women, what I've noticed they say is that light-skinned men are very arrogant, egotistical,
and very self-absorbed. So I noticed that dark-skinned women would say, I love me a dark-skinned man. However, they're not attracted to me, or they don't come towards me.
Mm.
And then I heard, light-skinned women saying they just prefer dark-skinned men, period, or any shade of brown, or nothing lighter than them. And I take that to be the
quintessential,
the status quo of light-skinned people think they all that, they gotta be right, super superficial, and
now this is coming from a light-skinned person, so I mean she's not being facetious
at all.
She's not being facetious in no way, shape, and possible form. No. She's actually being honest about some shit. Go ahead.
Within our community, with the colorism itself, like I've stated before, it's something that completely drags down the self-love of one self. It's also the colorism in the Black relationship is a deflection of one's own self-esteem issues.
Mm.
And I say that because you notice and see that we tend to put the negativity on the same color of ourselves when it pertains to our people.
So read some of the comments, babes.
I kind of can't.
Oh, you ain't got your contacts in?
I do, but because of how it's
set up.
Yeah.
All right, just scroll up. Scroll up.
No, do it on yours. Log in on yours.
No, I'm not good. Okay. All right, dark-skinned dudes get white women because sometimes the sisters
don't rock with them. Hold on. The sisters don't rock with them, make them feel ugly. I heard that as well.
Yeah,
A Black man said.
Handbone, yo, thank you.
Jay did say he's light-skinned.
Jay did say he's light-skinned, but we got to read the comment before that. So hold on.
White people smell like throw up. Really, Jay Day?
Handbone said.
That is a product of slavery where the Black woman has been trained not to depend on her man because he couldn't protect her, and then men damaging the women in our community.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, crap. It's acting a fool.
Young and following humble rappers and foreign women
are the new trade.
Yeah. Jay said, "Hey, you check out the link I sent you." Okay, no problem.
Oh wait,
we're gonna definitely check it. You just passed university.
No, he wrote something else up here. It's all. Well, I guess not. My bad.
Go ahead.
There's a great divide amongst skin tones and hair textures. Yes,
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Because united we stand, divided we fall. If we, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
On some real shit.
All right, hold on, wait. People start loving themselves and things will be much better. That is correct.
You goddamn right.
What's up, Jan?
Jan in the building?
Yeah.
What's good? What's good? What's good, fam?
So,
can I go through this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. In another conversation with a group of males, it was brought to my attention that apparently the Black boys wanted to have mixed babies, so they would have nice hair. Now, why is it that mixed hair is equivalent to nice hair? Why is it that the 4C here is not beautiful? Correct me if I'm wrong, but the women that gave birth to these Black boys is Black. Okay. It would be unfair of me to base my opinions a few conversations, that took place in the first place, it should have never happened. Okay, beauty is such a touchy subject. There is a fine line between being ignorant and having a type. Everyone is entitled to have a physical attraction for whomever they choose. A problem when these opinions metamorphosize into a rude comment.
Mm-hmm.
Did you really think that I wouldn't mention this infamous "you're pretty for a black girl" comment? It's not a comment.
It's not a compliment at all.
When people say that, when they're implying is that black women are ugly in general, but the girl in question is acceptable.
Right.
It is implying that if she was a little bit lighter, she would be more pretty.
That is exactly what that is.
A part of me want to blame these boys for this tainted view of beauty. What choice do they have? Their minds are being polluted by the media, the portrayals of black women. The model industry has nothing but discrimination in the industry. I can't think of models or anything else that's actually sitting there supporting black women on the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And the modeling industry is very scarce that you see black women in the magazines or on the runway. An example, the music videos nowadays actually has features of several beautiful women, often being consisted of light skin or white. Go ahead.
Now, pretty much what I perceive is this. Just as much as a dark-skinned woman ends up with a light-skinned man, a dark-skinned man ends up with a light-skinned woman.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't think the higher percentage of this is based on prejudice. No, I'm saying the higher percentage. I do not think that is based on prejudice. I think that it is a subconscious, predetermined preference. Whether people, I'm just saying, whether people want to acknowledge it or not, subconsciously, regardless if you say that you trying to or not, that's what you end up with.
But if it wasn't indoctrinated while you were younger, it would not take place. Because the same way how you see that light-skinned sister, and she's attractive, the same way how he would have seen that dark-skinned sister that was attractive too. And he would give her the time of the day because you're black. So it doesn't matter about, the skin color, unless they were indoctrinated in an environment that and brighter is righter, and the darker is where you don't want to walk later in the park, cause you feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I mean, that's just the way how I can assimilate, because I'm coming from the north. Being a moreno, the way how the Spanish people like to call us and shit like that. Well, certain Spanish people like to call us.
Yeah.
We're not really perceived to be like the prominent people that they want to be around. And I'm not sitting here spitting venom on my Spanish family. You know what I'm saying? I got Spanish in my family all day, 24/7. Right. I got to speak the truth. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I love you all day, 24/7. But it is what it is. And it is a rift between the communities. Even in Haiti and the Dominican Republic right now, Haiti and the Dominican Republic is warring with each other when they used to be one nation. After 1844, Dominica got its own independence. But there's still a rift to this day. I mean, there was some beef going on between the Haitians and stuff like that, Dominicanos and shit like that, or whatever in the whole nine. But at the end of the day, we the same people. Every 5 Dominicans or any 5 Latinos, if you could hand me, I could show you 3 people that's in their family that's black.
Right.
Jan says something, baby.
Said, well, when you have self-proclaimed Moors claiming black means death, then what do you expect?
Shake my head. You right, Yon. I mean, it's fucked up. Black don't mean no goddamn death. If you notice the one damn thing, listen, I'm not even trying to go there. You know, I'm trying to be politically correct, Yon. You're about to put well, thank you for joining the building, fam.
But I'm coming based off of what I have seen so far, and this is based off of whether someone has been closed-minded and or open.
Okay.
I don't see where it is a prejudice, more or less a predetermined subconscious preference, whether it be based on childhood experience, whether it be based on relationship experience and or social experience of dealing with work environment and or friends.
So you're saying it's unconscious?
Yes, subconsciously. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I would agree to you. I'm not saying that you're wrong.
I'm not saying
that you're wrong.
I'm saying the majority of Black people, just based off of how we intermingle, how we see relationship. There are more Black people who are married to their same skin tone and or darker, within the spectrum being darker than me. When I say this, someone being darker than me,
okay, Queen, but that's
is more likely to end up with someone their same complexion and or darker.
But that's just in the South region, though.
Okay.
That's the reason why I say that, because it's the South region. We gotta add the whole 48. Because
if we're doing that, then that's about adding in interracial and all of that. And I wasn't doing that.
No. I understand what you wasn't. I know that you wasn't going there, but the point that I was trying to emphasize, that even though you say it's subconscious, what is subconscious now becomes conscious. It reminds me of how Black I am. It makes me look down in my skin like, damn, did I really get that goddamn black?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's not a prejudice.
No. But it makes you look at your own skin and become prejudiced towards your own skin and racist towards your own skin complexion. Because if you're not a conscious person and you love who you are and you're comfortable within your own skin, what that person say or those people say can actually affect your subconscious mind and make you now act on it consciously, where you turn around and you don't even want to be around Black people that say they don't want to be around Black people, period.
Yeah.
They don't like Black people, period. And they Black. They Blacker than me. But based on them, that's what the movie Get Out was about. When you're around so many people and your subconscious mind is not acting on that because you're around that white chick, what that family did was hypnotize him and brought him into the sunken place. That sunken place is where those other brothers and sisters lied at, and they was trying to get him to get the fuck on. You feel what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that's where they at. Where if you racist against your own kind, if you prejudice against your own kind, whatever you want to call it, for whatever individual it is what it is. They in the sunken place. That's deep in the subconscious mind, because if you could remember, he was at the bottoms trying to float back up to the top, and they look like a little pixie for a movie screen.
Okay.
So just think about what you know.
I completely understand that. I completely get that completely. However, in the perception of when we're looking at the spectrum of there is no such thing as a dark skin, there is no such thing as a dark skin. It's just all shades of Black. There is no such thing as, to the majority, there is no such thing as a prejudice against a predetermined prejudice. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, no problem.
No, hold on, wait. I'm not saying that there is no such thing as that, because there is a such thing as that. There is a such thing as a dark-skinned person being prejudiced against their own skin tone. There is that. I'm not saying that that's not the case. What I am saying, based on the replies that
because he wanted a white woman. This how disconnected. How disconnected. No, go back down. Go back down.
Down. Okay.
I read that one. Let's take your time. Take your time.
It's getting on my nerves.
Okay, no problem.
No, it's
it's
because of that.
Okay. This is disconnected.
You gonna read it out loud, babe?
Yeah, well.
You don't know what you're reading. You're reading to yourself.
No, I thought you was reading with me.
No, I wasn't. Because I was in the middle.
You could be speaking truth. Our people would say, but he got high yellow girlfriend because he wanted a white woman. This is how disconnected. This is how disconnect happened.
Kathleen
Cleaver caught it because she don't. Yeah. I mean.
That's the thing. I'm not diverting from that. I'm going based off of the answers and replies from the people directly that I got from this study here.
Yeah,
but this you're getting it misconstrued from what I'm saying.
I'm not, baby. I'm just trying to tell you something from a dark skinned person's perspective. There's a lot of people that will judge me based on your complexion.
And there's a lot of people that judge me.
And she black, so I don't give a fuck. They could judge me all day, all night. You know what I'm saying? But I stay within black. And you want to know what? It don't matter what type of black it is.
But that's what I'm saying.
In my eyes, I'm not speaking for nobody else.
No.
I'm just talking as a black man, as a man. So you gotta let me get. Can I have that? Can I have that? Yeah. But as a black man, the only thing I can say is on that large scale, whether she was dark chocolate, if she went and sat out in the sun for about 10 hours to 20 hours and let that melanin activate, I'm still gonna love her regardless. Because she's a black woman at the end of the day. We come from 150,000 shades of black. But what the king was trying to say was that's how heavily influenced the white culture can be on us.
I know. I
if you're not
into it.
Okay, go ahead.
I was specifically talking about us in our relationships.
Okay.
What I'm saying is because of how many shades we are, because there is no such thing as a light-skinned person not being black.
Yes, ma'am.
There is no, based off of what I have seen, the replies I've gotten from people, especially the ones that have dealt with colorism themselves, there were some people that dealt with colorism and they still dated a person that they're still with a person who is their skin tone, and they have personally dealt with colorism. What I'm saying is, I do not think, based off of what I got, there is a predetermined prejudice in all black people. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Is there a predetermined preference subconsciously based off of issues of colorism? Yes, that is what I'm saying. But is there a predetermined prejudice off bat? No. However, there are many, and when I say many, I mean many and plenty, who are very prejudiced against their own kind, which is the reason why they don't date black women. Prejudice against their own skin tone, which is why they date someone who is lighter than them. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying there's a separation between the two. We cannot completely sum up everyone and say that everyone is predeterminedly prejudiced against their own. You cannot say that. Me saying you prejudice against dark-skinned women because you with me, and that's not the case because you've been with dark-skinned women. Darker than me, but lighter than you. Have you not? I'm asking. This is a come on. This is I'm asking.
No,
like,
you're right. You're right. I'm answering your question.
Okay. So
don't hurt me.
No, it's
don't
not a sense
me.
of hurt. It's just one of the things.
You're a little aggressive right now.
No.
Don't hurt me. I'm just saying.
Come into the bosom. Come into the bosom.
All right. Okay. All right.
It's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying there's a separation between the two to where we cannot completely sum everyone up in a ball and say, just because of their issues that they dealt with colorism, they automatically off top are prejudiced. That's all I'm saying. Am I wrong? Are you saying, am I wrong in the are you saying?
Yeah.
I would love for this not to be that right there, please. I don't want it to be a sense of where it comes off as I'm being very combative, because that is the cliche for a Black woman, to off top come off very aggressive. And
You're good. You're good.
Okay, so can you respond to it?
Yeah.
No, you're not gonna respond to nothing I just said.
You were right. Yeah, you were right. You're right.
Okay, that's all I have for my study.
All right then. You sure?
Mm-hmm.
Positive?
Positive. I'm done.
You copacetic?
Mm-hmm.
Blood pressure down?
My blood pressure has always been down.
Let me see your arm.
You can test me.
Let me test your arm.
Test me, boo boo.
Your blood pressure's still up.
No, it's not up. My blood pressure is far from up. Don't do it.
Don't do it. You got heated over a conversation. Oh my gosh.
No, it wasn't a sense of being heated. It was, I didn't want you to automatically off
it's
top.
It's not my vision. I know where you stand at. That's where you, I guess, the discrepancy lied at, where there was a point of conviction, because you fail to realize I'm the one that's here with you and I see your vision. So you thought that I was an average person that's on Facebook or Instagram that will come at you. I'm giving you a synopsis of what they would have gave you if you were online seeing it from somebody else. My job is not just to sit here and just be quiet. It's to challenge you, so therefore it puts you in the right place, in the right mind, right space of mind. So therefore, when you have people that want to challenge you and you don't mean harm, then you're just trying to do is just put something out there. I'm just trying to put certain things out there. Now, if I'm a dark-skinned melanated man.
Yes, you are.
So I can
melanated.
But I can only speak from a dark-skinned melanated man's perception.
That's true.
You feel what I'm saying, yo? So it's not for you to take things to like I'm being combative or I have a whole bunch of rebuttals. Okay. But what I'm doing is I'm talking to you, because if I don't say it, you're going to have 500 or 10,000 or 30,000 other guys that's going to say it. That's my complexion.
Right.
Why not prepare you people that will sit there and question your intellect?
Which is what I dealt with.
But just don't take it as a sign, as, you know.
Yeah. Well, as our friend said here, we are both passionate about the topic.
Yeah.
And when passion comes, there's great love and conversation, right?
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But so you seriously don't have anything else to say towards it? Nope. So
oh my God, no, don't do that. No.
I don't have nothing to say.
No, don't do that.
I want to go on mine.
Okay, and we will, but look at that. Look at that love shown right there. What I would like to know from you when it pertains to Black relationships, for yourself personally, we're not talking about no one else, for yourself personally, and when it's dating, because I would like for you to list that example that you gave me last night when you were talking about you and your friend and you approached the same woman, and what was the cause and effect from that. Do you remember that one? He was light skinned, and you both approached the same woman, and you both got different.
I mean, okay. I mean, me and him made a bet who can get the shorty first. We was like, I was 19. I was like 19 or 20 at the time. We made a bet saying who can get shorty rock first. I'll approach old girl, try to give it a game. I got to get the gab. I didn't get it. Now, old boy, he's my homie. Excuse me. At that particular point in time, we don't know each other right now. You know what I'm saying, yo? Because we fell apart. But he was kind of, kind of different. So, but he was very light skinned because he was half black, half white. But he wasn't a street cat, basically. Old girl was a street woman. You know what I'm saying? She's from the hood. She hit with the program. But she chose him over talking to me based on his skin complexion. And how I know this is not just from him, it's based on the females that knew her, that we worked with, that said that's the reason why she chose him, because he was high yellow. I charged it to the game. Me and him still remain cool. I wasn't mad at it,
right?
Because at the end of the day, all over that, I mean, it is what it is. You know what I mean? So,
okay,
that's my dilemma on that end right there. That just as much as it happened to women, it happened to men.
Correct.
Point blank. Period. I even had women say that I'm too dark. They talk to dudes that's lighter than them. I had women that say I'm not tall enough, and I'm a 6 foot nigga.
You're tall.
I'm a 6 foot nigga, and the females tell me I ain't tall enough. I'm like, damn, how tall you want me to be? You know what I'm saying, yo? I ain't the skinniest motherfucker on the face of this planet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, yo? I ain't the skinniest cat on the planet, but you know what I'm saying, yo? I'm about 200. You feel what I'm saying, yo? Straight muscles. But at the end of the day,
yeah, we did approach that. We did specify Kodak Black.
appreciate you, Oba. Appreciate you.
That is exactly what his comment was. The
Black Caesar in the house. Go ahead, baby.
That's exactly.
Ain't nobody won't get mad at him. I just said I don't like women with my complexion. I like light-skinned women. I want you to be lighter than me. I love African American. My skin complexion.
Okay. Well, I like your skin complexion.
That's self-hatred. That is the exact form of self-hatred.
Light-skinned women, they more sensitive. You know?
See?
Dark-skinned women out here sensitive.
No, they too tough. They too tough. Light-skinned women, we can break them down more easy. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah. That's it. We shout out Change TV. You already know Florida. We in a good.
Thank you,
And you can't even speak correctly when you're doing the interview. So that right there is like the worst. That right there is a predetermined prejudice. That is what I'm saying. That's not no subconscious preference. That's a predetermined prejudice against oneself and the opposite sex.
But what I was trying to say to you, it started out subconscious and then it becomes predetermined.
Okay.
Based on the culture you were raised in.
Okay.
Because if you're raised in a culture that your skin complexion is superior over mine, it will force you to indoctrinate that mentality when it comes to women even more.
Okay.
That's where I was going with it.
Right.
Because you're from the South, right?
I am from the South.
And I was
raised here.
And I was raised up north.
You were raised up north. But you said raised up north is very common for a black man to not even be with the black woman.
But it's still indoctrination, because when you growing up around everybody else and you're the minority or majority, but then everybody else make you feel like a minority because they're lighter than you.
Right.
With the white man, it makes you, it's like a double team, triple team. You know what I'm saying? Like the WWF.
Yeah.
So it causes the psyche to get fucked up. Now, I ain't got no room for that nigga. I'm not making no excuse for that nigga. That nigga was retarded when he said that dumbass bullshit. I'm pissed the fuck off that he said that dumb bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He in Florida. There's a lot of melanated sisters out there that's beautiful and gorgeous.
Yeah.
Coco Coki, Johnny Hashu being black. And they got even skin complexion, they sexy. But you know, coons gonna be coons all day 24/7. I'm not gonna make an excuse for a coon.
Correct.
I can't talk for a coon. I can only talk for my educated brothers. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But here I go.
Okay, now I'm gonna give you a great introduction. You ready for this introduction, babe?
All right, go ahead.
Okay, so the spectrum of which we are transferring into, it will be into the rape section of this content.
Slavery.
/slavery.
Domestic violence.
And domestic violence, where it ties into the colorism effect for our people. Okay, so please do not take offense to anything that you're about to hear. Please know that these are statistics that have been done and tested. Nothing that is biased. It is completely
I'm
facts.
Going all over the world with
Facts.
This one. All right. Slave breeding. In the U.S., it was practiced as for slaves. The ownership was aimed towards systematically influencing the reproduction of slaves to increase in the wealth of the slaveholders in the United States. The purpose of the slave breeding was to acquire new slaves without inquiring the cost of purchase, and to fill the labor shortage caused by the termination of the transatlantic slave trade. Selective breeding between the slaves was aimed for developing a particular physical trait. That's pretty much, you know what I'm saying, when you're dealing with high cheekbones, real strong, muscular kind of cats or whatever that could work on railroads. Okay, planters in the upper South states started to sell slaves to the deep South through Louisville, Kentucky, which was a major slave market in the port of shipping slaves down to the river of the Mississippi, and New Orleans became the largest slave in the country and became the 4th largest city in 1840. There was 300. Okay, you got something to say? Okay. Now, when it comes to sexual violence in the U.S., there was 321,500 victims from the age of 12 and older. Younger people at the age was the highest at the risk. Younger people at the age of 12 to 34 was the highest at risk. Mm-hmm. 65 years old was 92% less likely to be raped, other than 12 to 24 years of age. 80% was less likely to be raped at the age of 25 to 49 years of age. Now, with that being said, this is a crime that happens in Canada. Every 17 minutes, they say somebody's being raped. Some of these women called the Victim Service Center in Vancouver, which is a rape relief shelter. About 1,400 of them actually called last year and actually got in a particular situation that they shouldn't have been in. Now, in 1998, the estimated total value of men and girls in the United States was 17.7 million states that have been raped. From the year 2000 until now, the Canadian military police have received 134 to 201 sexual assault complaints every year till this day. Now, with that being said, 82% of the juveniles convicted, 82% of the juvenile victims are females. 90% of the 90% of the adults are females. 82% of the rape victims that are juvenile are females. 90% of the rape victims are females that are adults. For boys and men, in 1998, there was 2.78 million rape victims in the US. We ain't gonna stop there. Men in the US, there was 3% of men attempted or committed rape in their life. 1 out of every 10 men actually convicted rape, completed it. I know it's a sensitive topic. We need to talk about this shit. Chess, put it out there. We ain't got no room for no bullshit. Put it out there. How you feel? Ain't nothing stupid, ain't nothing irrational. You feel the way how you feel. All right now. So with that being said now, there was a woman named Judith M. Taylor of Toronto, said that women were held down at gunpoint and it became acceptable amongst the Canadian soldiers where a man named Sabaya, who raped at least 1,000 women in Toronto in the year of 1998. This shit get real. The Canadian Army in Kingston, Ontario, rose to like 80% when it comes to sexual assault. Now, with that being said, we got sexual violence that can have a long-term effect on victims. We gotta talk about this as a black case. I mean, this shit keep going down 24/7. What you say?
I was saying at the moment, yes, and how it ties into slavery.
All right now. All right. So with that being said, now when we're talking about sexual violence that have a long-term effect on rape victims, I'm gonna need you to interject. Can you please? All right.
If you would like, I can interject now.
Go ahead and interject right now.
Okay. So when it pertains to these statistics on rape pertaining to the children of age and or older women and men, because this is something that happens to men and women. This is not including those that go based off of what our grandfathers and grandmothers and aunties and uncles tell us to do, to don't say nothing, sweep it under the rug. This is not including that large, vast amount of people that go throughout life and don't say anything. This is only based off of what's reported. Now, I do know that within the Black community itself, it's looked down upon for anyone to come out and say, yes, I was raped. Yes, I was molested. And this is who did it to me, especially if it is a family member. This is something that is a big no-no in the Black community. And of course, this all ties back to where? It ties back to where?
Slavery.
Ring that bell.
Slavery.
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 It rings back there every single time. Every single time, to where, as you're going to divulge into, the man would have to see his woman be raped and can't do nothing about it. Women and children being raped in the breeding farms, butt breaking in Jamaica.
That's one of the main reasons why Jamaicans is strongly against homosexuality, especially when it comes to men. All right. So now we're on a topic called sexual violence can have a long-term effect on the victims. Now, with that being said, we have a shitload of shit to go through. Now, with that being said, they said 94% of the women experience PTSD within the first 2 weeks. Number two, 30% of the women partake in PTSD 9 months later.
That's not an accurate number because most women continuously deal with PTSD.
Not done.
Okay, go ahead.
Number three, 33% of the women contemplate suicide. Number four, 13% of the women actually attempt suicide. Number five, 70% of victims experience moderate distress. Number six, 38% of victims experience work school problems, including boss, co-workers, and peers. Would you like to add in?
I can say from personal experience that is correct. It affects you in all forms of your life. It even affects you in the forms of your children and how you watch your children on, I'm saying on some cases, because some people
carefree like a motherfucker.
They're extremely carefree, no concern whatsoever, and there is no high alert. I've noticed that with some victims that being more sensitive and on a high alert, they tend to turn a blind eye and it ends up happening again to the next generation. That's what I have noticed.
All right now. Now, with that being said, they got number 7, 37% experience feud between family members and not being able to gain trust.
It's true.
You got anything more to say? I'm including.
I understand. That is something that is very true. There's a struggle to find a balance between who to trust and who not to trust, and then who to put that issue upon. Mm-hmm. We tend to put it on the wrong person. Relationships to dissolve very quickly.
So with that being said, now they said 84% of victims are victimized by intimate partners.
That is correct. Someone noted on here, husbands who have sex with wives against their will can now go to prison. That is absolutely correct.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely correct.
Biggie said that. Now, if you don't remember, go back and look at "Get Money" the remix with Biggie Smalls and Junior Mafia. He said it. He said that Faith Evans actually told him. Told the court that he raped her. So, that's something that's been put out there.
She said no, and she didn't want it. He kept going.
Yeah, he kept going.
That's rape.
That's rape. Okay, 79% of the survivors were victims by family members.
That is correct. I am a clear example of it. I can just go based off my experience. My family, they don't talk about it. I was taken away from the home, and I popped back up when I was 18. And when tried to have a conversation about it, it was pretty much, I don't really want to talk about that no more. Can we just move forward? And it kind of puts the victim in a spot of there is no such thing as a closure. There is no such thing as a why did this happen to me, and why, because most victims want to know, why didn't you protect me? Especially if there were family members that were around and they knew or saw something, they want to know, why didn't you protect them? But yet, as a whole, in the sense of the Black community, it's shunned upon to talk about it. It's shunned upon to ask these questions. So you're told to just be quiet. You live in life now. Don't worry about it no more. But for most people who are victims, and it is someone closer to family, it tends to make them detached from the family dynamic because there is no such thing as a closure, and because they're not able to really truly address the issue at hand.
What up, Kev Love? What up?
Hello.
Kezo says something.
Let's see. I had a friend who was assaulted by a sibling as a child. She had a lot of long-term effects from it. Found out back then, but put her through counseling and never discuss it. Exactly. That is the major issue within the Black community. We don't want to discuss that issue because it's faux pas. It's, like I said, it's shunned upon, and no one wants to really truly put the finger on it to say that this is wrong. This is something that we have adapted from our slave owner and put them upon ourselves, which is, it ties back into the colorism topic, you know, completely. We're taking on racism, and we're taking on pedophilia, and we're taking on the rape nature in our community and putting it on ourselves. And then on top of that, we don't want to talk about it because there's no such thing as that. That don't exist. There's no such thing, or because of the shame, no one wants to completely talk about it. And I can say that for myself personally, I have a very strained relationship with my family because I am so very distant, and because of how I am with my children. I am the type of mother, my children, whether boy or girl, is not sitting in nobody's lap. My child is not kissing nobody. And if I don't feel comfortable with you, if I don't vibe right with you, you're not keeping my child, period. So there is a lot that goes into it that a lot of people in the Black community don't necessarily like to address, because we don't like to talk to nobody about what's going on with us.
But if we can't have no guidance counselors, who the fuck, I mean,
That's
or
what the
no
family is supposed to
psychologists, pediatric help.
The family is supposed to be there. That's what the family dynamic is supposed to be.
But I mean, but we're talking about the modern day and time.
Yeah, I know.
Who else is gonna be there if we're not? If the younger generation ain't here for the younger generation, because we can't seek help.
Yeah.
Hey there.
He was just saying hi.
You know what I'm saying? Yo, what's good, family? What's good? If the younger generation are not here for each other, what else do we have?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yo, and it's not to distract or deflect from the older generation.
Not at all.
But the older generation got so much going on. But by now, we should have our shit together where we should be able to help each other out. You know what I'm saying? Yo, and it's not nothing in no fucked up way, but we need to get our shit together on some real shit. As the younger generation, we need to get our shit together.
Yeah.
And we need more of us that's in this room right now that'll sit there in the fight against that pedophilia bullshit and that rape bullshit. Bullshit. You feel what I'm saying? Because as far as I can see it right now, that Margaret Sanger, the eugenics program is actually taking out its place right now. Dude, there ain't but so far you can go, and you can talk to a Black woman right now. If you ain't got this, or you ain't doing this, or you ain't got your own crib, depending on where you are, most of these Black women are not trying to hear shit you gotta say.
Not at all.
And I'm just being real with the shit.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, and I'm like seeing this shit for myself, and I'm like, real talk, that's how far we came?
Yeah.
Dude.
It's that sad.
Dude, it's sad. I remember back in the days, all you needed was this. Show this.
The gift of gab and
intellect. If it wasn't this, it was this. Now it's all about this. That's fucked up. But anyways, number 9, 79% of the victims were victimized by family members. Number 10, 67% of survivors were victimized by strangers.
I think that's a I don't know if that's an accurate number, because I would like to say that that number is low when it pertains to strangers, because more so when you hear a person has been raped by a stranger, they're usually killed.
But what about foster home, school?
Well, yeah.
College.
Yeah, okay. Well, in that
work,
context, okay, yeah. Okay, I see that. Okay.
in the mall.
Okay, I see that. Okay, I see it.
Right.
I see it. My bad.
Okay, all right. Okay, all right. Okay, how, Sway? You ain't got all the answers, Sway.
I don't have all the answers,
All
but
right.
I would love to.
Now, in South Africa by itself, fams, on some real shit.
Please don't be offended.
For anybody that's in the building,
Please.
you from Africa? Yo, I'm not attacking Africa.
By
I just went
all
from
means.
I went from US to Canada. Now I'm going to Africa.
Please do not be offended. Please, please.
Congolese goddess, shout out. I'm doing world news. Now, with that being said, now we're talking about Africa. Africa, in South Africa, 38% of the men admitted to forcing women to have sex. That's number one. Now, with that being said, number two, to extend the question to a broader violence, having beaten or threatened women into having sex jumped to 54%. With that being said, what they're talking about is 3 in every 5 men were involved in that. All right. So let's go forward. Number 3. According to the study, over 500 sexual assault cases was reported in the hold up. I gotta say this right. That's Sapulse police. Since 2013, 1 case led to a conviction. Number 4.
That's sick.
Only 1 case led to a conviction?
That's sick.
All right, never mind. Because I see some of them cats got the fuck off because we talking about some real shit. All right. Number 4. An African actress called...
Oh, Charlize Theron.
All right. Said that a woman and a child is being raped every 26 seconds. Which the white man tried to debunk and said it was a lie.
Charlize Theron is a famous white woman who is born in South Africa, and she is a major for South Africa, as well as an activist. I'm not saying that, you know, she the best white woman I've ever seen. Not saying that. However, when
you gotta make that clear.
I do. When specifically talking about this person, she is one who is very active in pursuing the rights of those who were naturally born in South Africa, who are black, not white, but
okay. All right. This statistics would imply that over 1.2 million women and children are raped every year. This was 1998. Cape Cod Town Rape Crisis Center, based on the understanding that 1 in every 20 rape case is reported. Let me say that again. This statistic was implied that 1.2 million women and children are raped every year. 1998, a Cape Cod Town crisis shelter, based on the understanding only 1 in every 20 case is reported. This is something by the international media try to blow coverage on. Repeatedly try to shoot it down. Quote, unquote. All right, now, with that being said, The most recent data showed that in the South African police between, the South African police showed that April 2016 to December 2016, there was 30,069 reports of rape cases. It went down from 32,161 cases over a period of 2015. This data shows that South Africa rape statistic doubled the country's murder. Hold up. This data shows that South Africa rape statistics doubled the country's murder rate over this 275 days in a period of 53.8 per 100,000 people in the country. This equates to one person getting raped every 13 minutes. Can I run that back?
I mean, you can. I mean, that's
you
not
want me to run that back?
I mean, that's not something that's not far-fetched. I mean,
but you know how some people try to make it look like it's far-fetched in the Black community,
yeah.
and how they fucked up our psychology and how we do things. Yeah. Okay. The data shows that South Africans rape statistics double country murder rate, double its country murder rate within a 275 day in a period of 5.8% case per 100,000 people in the country. This equates to a person being raped every 13 minutes. Assuming that the communists, assuming that the economists estimate 1 in every 9 go unreported, that figure even moves to the alarming rate of being raped every 2 minutes.
I can believe that. You want to know why I can believe that? Because you have the issue of, you know, within the village, the man is allowed to do what he wants to do. It's not something that is majorly shunned upon traditionally. I'm gonna say that. Now, I'm not gonna say in those areas that are beyond the in the places that are colonialized, I can say that's where rape is reported at. But if it is an area that is not colonialized, if it is an area that is still living in slow urbanization, I can believe the higher rate of unreported rape. Seeing as how in the militia, I forget the guy's name, but it was a major militia in Africa. He would recruit young boys and he would rape them. The leader of the militia group, he would rape them. There was a movie made about it. Idris Elba played the leader. It's on Netflix.
You want to know what? That's not throwing no salt on Africa
at all, because that's shit that happens here.
We gotta be able to address the situation, because if we here in America, best believe if you got sons or daughters, now if you 35 and the age older, you know most of these girls that's getting in the game, they got fucked. All right, it is what it is.
Is what it is, and the younger they are, the more they look like me. And I'm a grown woman. I'm 30. And
with the dudes now they getting fucked too, just like the females. These younger niggas ain't got no discretion. I'm just being real with you. You want me to be honest? I'm gonna be real with you. That's these younger niggas ain't got no discretion, and I'm just being honest. Okay. So with that being said, now domestic violence in the U.S.
Okay.
Victimization from domestic violence transcend the boundaries of genders and sexual orientation. Within the LGBT, the chances are they're much more higher.
Lies you do tell.
I didn't say it, they said it.
Lies you do tell. You're not going to sit here and tell me that the gay community has the most highest rate when it pertains to domestic violence. You want to know why? Because in heterosexual relationships, guess what? Domestic violence goes unreported. You want to know how? The woman ends up dying. That's how the shit go unreported. She lived a whole fucking relationship with this man and he beat the shit out of her and then she ended up fucking dying.
So there's a gay relationship too.
I understand that. However, you're not going to sit here and tell me that it's higher in that. You cannot. You want to know why you cannot? Because there's plenty of women who go throughout life in a domestic violence relationship and don't say nothing, and you would never know. And on top of that, there are men that are in a relationship and they are the ones that are receiving the abuse and not the woman, and they don't report it. That is why I say that. Why? Because the statistics are not completely full and vague. That right there is going based off of the LGBTQ and P community. And that's P for pedophilia.
Okay, I wasn't done though. But
oh, my bad. I'm sorry. I thought I was okay. My bad.
Okay, no problem.
My bad. I'm sorry.
I see where you're going with this.
You do?
Yeah, I see where you're going with this. Now, with that being said, now that is just basically going off of who is more likely to end up in jail.
Oh, okay.
Of the issue.
Okay.
Of domestic violence.
Okay.
Because even though a man might be some men might be abusive.
Mm-hmm.
They know the difference, and most men won't put their hands on a woman regardless of what a woman does.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because of the energy, and they know that's not right.
Right.
Okay. Now you got the same-sex marriage. How many times have you seen gay women put their hands on gay women? Mm-hmm. Gay men put their hands on gay. We all got Facebooks here. I'm not the only fucking person that sees this shit. Yeah. I can't be the only person that see this shit.
You're not. I mean,
you know what I'm saying? Yo, there's gay
community.
people that's on Facebook that post videos on World Star Hip Hop doing shit to each other. Okay. It's fucked up, but it is what it is.
This is not promoting
no homosexuality.
This is not promoting that.
It's not promoting homosexuality, but I'm talking about domestic violence. Yeah. Domestic violence.
In the black community.
In the black community. So with that being said now, men are subjected to being subjected to domestic violence in a large number, but they are more than less likely to be in a situation where people will believe them that they were abused by a female.
And you see what I was saying?
Hmm? I already had it in my notes.
I know you did.
All right.
We were vibing. The energy was there.
In the Native American population, 60% was at a disadvantage, where they were physically abused as women by their partners. That's fucked up.
Oh yeah.
Now there is a thing called intimate terrorism, which is an ongoing, complicated use of control, where one person tries to assert systematic control over another physiological. Okay.
Okay.
All right. According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, domestic violence is an inflicting of a physical injury by one family or household member. All states made wife beating illegal in 1920. However, only since 1970 has it become a criminal justice system, has it become a part of the criminal justice system, and began its treat treatment of domestic violence
Really?
as a serious crime.
Really?
You're
Because them
really-
white people been beating their wives since.
The Italians been beating their women like a motherfucker. I mean,
So
you
you really gonna say in 1920s and they
I
were
mean,
still
but-
trying to fight for their rights for women?
But I mean, you can listen to fucking what's his name? Anthony.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
You can listen to Eddie Murphy Raw.
white men were still trying to fight for
The
rights.
Italians used to threaten their women and beat their women. Like, I fucking shove a bottle down your fucking throat. Who the fuck you talking to, eh? 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 What the fuck you take me for, eh? All right, but anyways, I bet. All right. In 1996, there was 840,000 rape cases and sexual assault, robbery, and etc. Victimization from the hands of the intimate lover went down from 1.1 million in 1993. From 1993. So hold on. Victimization of the lover went down from 1.1 million in 1993. Really? Anyways, in 1996, over 1,800.
Oh, you know what that lead me to think? Women been fighting back.
And I ain't mad at them. Not just women.
And men.
And men that's in them gay ass fucking relationships. Fuck, I don't even know what the fuck. I mean, you know what? I'm gonna keep my comment to myself. In 1996, 1,800 murders were attributed to intimate lovers. 3 out of 4 of these cases was women. In 90s, there was nearly 3,000 victims of these lovers that were being murdered. Other studies show that at least 4 million women were battered each year. And only 14% of the population of where women reported the house, reported that where 40% of the women reported the spouse, the abuse of the spouse or the boyfriend. So it is what it is. I said what I had to say. I thank you, family, for staying here the whole entire time. Truth, love, and happiness. Peace, love, and happiness. Peace, love, and Black power.
One love, babe.
It's always gonna be one love. Peace, love, and Black power.
Silly.